From WREL News and the Capital Broadcasting Podcast Network, this is your Coronavirus North Carolina News Brief for Tuesday, May 26th, 2020. I'm Cliff Baumgardner. Here's the latest from WREL.com. Over the holiday weekend, North Carolina saw its highest numbers yet for COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations, just as the second phase of the state's reopening plan begins. On Saturday, North Carolina recorded its biggest day-to-day increase in coronavirus numbers, with 1,107 laboratory-confirmed cases reported. Then yesterday, the number of people hospitalized with COVID-19 reached a new high at 627. At a press conference today, Dr. Mandy Cohen, Secretary of the State Department of Health and Human Services, said she finds the weekend spike in coronavirus infections concerning. Part of it is attributable to expanded testing, but there are outbreaks in rural areas and long-term care facilities that need to be addressed. As the first full week of the state's Safer at Home step of its reopening plan begins, Governor Cooper encouraged North Carolinians to remain vigilant in their efforts to protect themselves and their community.
But I encourage everyone to continue to take this virus seriously and follow the 3 W's. I know you get tired of us saying it, but it is so important to have in your mind and to actually do. Wear a face covering, wash your hands, wait 6 feet apart. And the other safety rules out there, they are saving lives and they're protecting everybody. Let's keep at it.
Yesterday, the North Carolina High School Athletic Association Board of Directors voted to extend the coronavirus down period for sports until June 15th. The period was originally scheduled to end on June 1st. In an email to the NCHSAA membership, the association says the board also authorized staff to continue working with the association's Sports Medicine Advisory Committee to create plans for a phased return to summer activities and conditioning, noting that summer activities could begin as soon as June 15th if pandemic conditions in North Carolina continue to improve. The association is also encouraging athletic departments to begin to prepare for the resumption of activities by purchasing items like entrance and exit signs, hand sanitizer, cleaning supplies, masks, gloves, hand washing stations, water stations, and objects to mark social distancing areas. The email says that by listing masks, it does not mean the association will require masks to be used. Last week, the NC Department of Health and Human Services released a set of guidelines to allow youth and high school sports to resume under restrictive measures. The National Federation of State High School Associations also released phased guidelines last week meant to help state associations resume sports safely. The owners of several gyms and fitness studios across North Carolina say they will file a lawsuit on Wednesday against Governor Roy Cooper over restrictions he has put in place that have kept them closed during the coronavirus pandemic. When Cooper laid out a 3-phase plan last month to resume business and social activities statewide amid the pandemic, fitness centers were part of the second phase of the plan. But when the governor actually moved the state into Phase 2 last week, gyms were left out, meaning they would have to remain closed for at least 5 additional weeks. Cooper and Dr. Mandy Cohen have said they scaled back the initial Phase 2 plans because the number of coronavirus cases in North Carolina continues to increase. They say a go-slow approach in which higher-risk activities aren't all reopened at the same time could prevent a sudden spike in infections that would force the state into another shutdown. In addition to gyms, bars and indoor entertainment venues like movie theaters were left out of the revised Phase 2 plans. Meanwhile, gym owners in North Carolina say it's possible to operate their businesses safely, implementing strict cleaning procedures and social distancing measures, even going so far as to say the governor's order is unconstitutional and should be overturned. Left-leaning advocacy groups have filed a federal lawsuit demanding changes in North Carolina's voting laws due to the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. The 72-page suit declares the state's absentee ballot and voter registration rules unconstitutional, saying people can't be forced to choose between voting and protecting their health. Among other things, it calls for a longer registration period and contactless drop boxes for absentee ballots in case there are post office delays. The suit is the latest in a string of legal actions that may decide the ground rules leading up to the November presidential election in North Carolina. There are more than half a dozen lawsuits currently pending. State lawmakers filed legislation on Friday that addresses some of the issues targeted by the suit, but not all of them. Allison Riggs, Chief Voting Rights Counsel for the Southern Coalition for Social Justice, said that bill doesn't go far enough, saying in an email that the bill filed is, quote, grossly inadequate and won't moot the lawsuit, or at least not all of it, end quote. The SCSJ said it believes the suit is the most comprehensive pending against the state over safe voting practices. It seeks 3.5 pages of changes to North Carolina voting laws, including waiving a requirement that voter registration applications be submitted at least 25 days before an election, waiving witness requirements on absentee ballots and allowing them to be requested by phone, email, or online, and granting more flexibility at early voting sites, which have long and uniform hours now by law, and providing personal protective equipment to all precinct workers. This has been your Coronavirus North Carolina News Brief for Tuesday, May 26th, 2020. As always, if you like the news and information you get from this podcast, let us know. Leave a rating and review wherever it is you listen. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our new episodes. Thanks for listening.